20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go. Welcome to another episode of the Married into Crazy with Snooks and Lovey.
It's the Married into Crazy podcast, and it's episode 178 of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks. He just can't let me have it. Okay, whatever. It's all right.
It's, I let you get your way a lot.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I do. Here's a perfect example.
Oh, my gosh.
Two cardiologists and an internal medicine doctor and a host of nurses said that when Snooks came home, she was supposed to relax
and
not get her heart rate up, take her blood pressure twice a day, take a host of medications. Oh, and what does she do?
What I do? I take my medicine twice a day. I forgot once. And I take my blood pressure. I forgot once.
So what does she do?
What did I do?
She watches the AFC and NFC championship football games this weekend. Apparently, she can't watch a game without screaming and yelling and jumping. I had to get upset because this woman is watching the games, and granted, it's good football. But we're watching the games, and she's jumping up and screaming. I'm like, sit your butt down. You're not supposed to be moving around. Just calm down. And multiple times.
They didn't say I couldn't watch football.
No, they said you could watch football, but they didn't say you could sit there and try and be a cheerleader in your own house.
Well, you know what's so funny, though? Even when we were at the hospital, we were in the hospital, and there was three games on that day, on that Saturday. And we were watching football, and I am very vocal. I really get into the games and stuff. And I yelled at one point while we were in the hospital. I yelled out loud. I yelled out loud, and I was like, "Oh shoot, I'm not at home. I can't be yelling in the hospital."
But here's the funny thing:
heck loud.
She was heck loud in the hospital. But did any of the nurses come running? No.
Because my heart rate was okay.
No, because they're used to people screaming and yelling.
Oh, my gosh.
And you got people across the hallway talking about, y'all can't keep me here.
Yeah.
And then you hear the guy yelling, oh, we got a runner.
That was hilarious.
They weren't paying you no attention.
Anyway, so you shouldn't either. I could yell at the football, and I wasn't jumping up and down.
You jumped up off the couch.
I jumped up off the couch.
Ooh, now
one
the truth
time.
comes out.
Like, not jumped up, but I got up off the couch. Not very, very fast, not very, very slow, but got off the couch anyway.
But kudos to the NFC and AFC champions facing off in the Super Bowl. It's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset about that.
Why?
Because, Mahomes is my boy.
Well,
so I wanted to see them. And I would have liked to see the 49ers go.
I would have liked to see the 49ers go because Dad's team was the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do like the idea of Stafford going because...
all those years in Detroit.
In Detroit. All those years in Detroit. And the fact that the Rams, they went all in. And I love that they went all in because they went after Stafford. They brought in Odell Beckham. They brought in some other individuals. And stick with us, y'all. This is not going to be a sports podcast. But they went all in. Like, this is it. We won a championship. And we're going to put ourselves in the best position possible and get the personnel and do what we need to do. And there's so many teams out there that won't do that. Mm-hmm. And it's important to me because if you relate that to marriage, when you get married, you got to be all in.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But then on the other side of it, though, with the Bengals, how long has it been?
30-something years.
30-something years. So
since they had a playoff win.
Since they had a playoff win, and then they won back to back to back. And now they're going to the biggest stage for football, which is the Super Bowl. So to that point, it's like, you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. It doesn't matter how many times you fail, you get back up and you do it again and you do it again. And that's exactly what they did. Everybody had them counted out pretty much.
True. The last time
So,
the last time they were in the Super Bowl was in 1988, and the time before that was 81. In 81, I remember watching the game versus the 49ers, and it was I watched it over at the Archuleta's house, at my best friend's house. Shout out to all the Archuletas, the Archuleta clan. And then in 88, I remember watching the Bengals and the 49ers. And both times Bengals lost. But I was over in England, and we took our television from the day room and the furniture from the day room. We put it out there in the quad, and we called ourselves running these extension cords out there. And we were going to watch the game
blowing up the base
in the snow. Right. So we're watching it out there,
Why would you be in the snow watching the football game?
Because we were 20-something, and it seemed like a good idea. There was definitely some alcohol involved.
Apparently.
Yeah, but it started getting really cold, so we brought the TV and stuff back in. We're fair weather. Alcohol thins your blood, so we got cold real quick.
Yeah, okay. That's funny. But yeah, so shout out to them. And then, like Lovey says, it's not going to be a sports talk, but Tom Brady, I don't know, is it true he's really retiring or?
No, actually, I spoke with Tom. And,
oh, you did? Okay, what did he clarify?
Yeah, he did. He
okay, because I was going to call Peyton because, I know him and Peyton are friends.
No, yeah, no. Okay, basically, what Tommy said was that.
Tommy, so silly.
Yeah, Tommy, he texted me. He's like, do you think the Steelers will have me? And I said, we could probably negotiate a 1-year contract if you come over to the Steelers.
Wow.
So, bye, Ben. And no, it's not like that. No, we love Ben, but hung on to him a little too long. This is becoming a sports podcast.
Okay, so we'll stop talking
We got to stop this. All right,
but
look,
see,
y'all.
Sports is a team, and as in marriage. So, sometimes you can, it could cross-reference.
I say that we talked about going all in.
All in. I talked about not giving up.
We talked about when people get too old, you trade them out and get new ones. I'm sorry, wrong podcast.
Wow. I see where your mind is, so it's all right.
No. But you know what? I will just say this, that it was a fun weekend. We got to relax, finally. No one went to the hospital this weekend, which is a nice thing.
Yeah, no one went.
There was no ailment, no sickness in the house, so that was cool.
Yeah, that was good. It was quiet because little man is not here.
Right, that part.
Good Lord, but it's all good.
I had a couple of conversations with friends. There were a lot of people that were chiming in, and there have been some great things that have been happening with Married into Crazy, and I love it when people approach us and they start asking questions about marriage, and what do you think about this, and all these scenario type things. And sometimes you wonder, is it really I'm asking for a friend, or do they have it going on?
Yeah.
Right. But one person did ask me, and I wanted to bring this up.
Mm-hmm. But before you go there, you talk about going to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure you leave a review. Put 5 on it. 5 on it.
Please do, yeah. So if you're enjoying the podcast, if you like what we do and what we're talking about more times than not our sports talk, but our marriage talk.
Are bomb.
But yeah, please do go over to Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify and leave a rating. And on Apple Podcasts, you can actually go ahead and leave a review as well, and we appreciate that.
5.
And since you're on the internet, while you're doing that, you can bounce over to marriedintocrazy.com. And check out our coaching tab. Go ahead and right before this podcast, we were on a discovery call with another couple. We love doing that to find out if we're a good match, but also to see, if there's anything that we can do to assist. That's all the call is. Is there something that we can do with our coaching, our style, our platform of working at, Married into Crazy? Of course, crazy stands for
compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding.
Those are the 5 pillars upon which our coaching platforms stand.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always going to be room for us to be more compassionate to each other.
Mm-hmm. In everything.
To actually be real. To have a conversation about what's based in reality, not perceptions, not what I think she did. Oh, I know it, even though they said they didn't, and all the family said they didn't, and da-da-da-da. But in my head, I just know. Okay, we try and keep it real. to make sure that we're really dealing with the issues at hand, and that's something that's in our head.
Mm-hmm.
We also want to make sure we're being very accountable to each other.
Not just to each other, but to ourselves too.
Amen. To ourselves and to our covenant.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably one of the most important things is to really grasp and hold on to, embrace that zealousness that should be there. We're zealous is all get up and enthusiastic when it comes to, pointing out each other's, challenges, things that we've done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But are we as zealous and excited and enthusiastic when we're really trying to pursue our relationships and point out all the great things that everyone is doing?
Mm-hmm.
And the last
is yielding. We should all be yielding to each other, and stop looking at yielding as a weak word, because it is not. Yielding is, I yield to Lovey, Lovey yields to me. It's not one person lording over another person. It's us yielding unto each other.
Amen. And the only other thing that we would ask you to do is surround yourselves with good people. Surround yourselves with an iron tribe, those people that are going to lift up your marriage. Proverbs 27:17 is, as iron sharpens iron, so does, I forgot the.
So we as couples sharpen each other.
Well,
that's
not
what
the scripture.
that's what we say.
Right, no, but it's as iron sharpens iron, so should we sharpen the countenance of our friends, or something like that. I be butchering scripture.
Wow. Let me scoot over. Let me scoot over.
Jesus know my heart.
Wow. You
No,
say
but
your heart need to be in the scriptures.
We as couples should be sharpening each other as well. We need you to surround yourselves with people that are there for your marriage. They have to be there for you, but more importantly, have to be there for your marriage.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And so with that said, let's just kind of move on. So you go to Facebook, join Iron Tribe, marriage community. It's Iron Tribe, the marriage community. And you'll hear a lot of things that we're doing and that the community is doing. And as a matter of fact, one of those things is a married vision board activity that's taking place this upcoming Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to be getting together a poster board and some tape and glue and pictures and just really building out a vision for our marriages. Mm-hmm. So it should be a good time. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. It was delayed once because of Sicky over here.
Wow, Sicky. Okay.
No, we delayed it because we wanted to give her some additional rest to recover from her hospital stay. So we're looking forward to this weekend. Sicky. Okay, that's enough plugging, enough commercials. I hope you're still here with us. But there was a question that came up.
Yeah,
but you had something you were
No,
say.
I was saying, go ahead.
So now there's a question that came up, and somebody asked, what do you think is more detrimental to a relationship? A physical infidelity or an emotional infidelity?
So what did you say?
You really want to know my answer?
No, I just make something up. Yeah, I want to know your answer.
I honestly believe that it's emotional. Okay. I think emotional infidelity is extremely difficult to move beyond. Now, I understand physical, and physical infidelity is also difficult to move past. But sometimes physical infidelity can be, situational in the moment. It could be somebody, could have been drinking, or could have been, had their wits about them. Could have been one of those things where it was like they're in the wrong place at the right time, I guess, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
I don't know, the wrong place at the wrong time, whatever you want to call it. But it was a one-time thing. The challenge I have with an emotional adultery, if you will, or infidelity, is that there's an investment, a major investment when it comes to emotional infidelity, because you're giving your soul, you're giving your emotion, you're tied up into that person, and it's so much more. It goes way beyond the physical.
So if I had a physical affair with someone, you think you can move past that?
Are you asking me that on the podcast?
So funny.
We would, I think we could.
I just say it in
I think we could work through it.
In regards to like what your answer is.
I think we could work through it. It just depends. Like, now, if you were like a repeat offender and you're like, yeah, I'm going on my fourth transgression, No, that would be a challenge.
Well, so here's the thing I feel like, and this is just purely my own perspective. When you talk about physical infidelity, or, you know, infidelity, period. When you say infidelity, the first thing everyone thinks about is physical, a physical affair. And it's like a physical affair is a casual thing. I feel like it's an opportunistic
Okay.
type of affair. Like you said, right time, right place, whatever. Could be drunk, could be whatever. Whatever the reasoning is behind um, the physical part, where you're bored in your relationship, or whatever. I don't know, but that's what I think about when you talk about physical. I agree with you in the respect of the emotional, because when you an emotional affair, like you said, you're investing in a person. Um, a physical affair is about, I feel like it's about satisfying the flesh. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The emotional part of it is my emotions are in it, and I think I'm falling in love or something like that. So I'm investing. I'm smitten. You know,
I
when you
think,
say sprung.
but it goes beyond like you use the word casual. Sorry, this cough will not go away. So you use the word casual, and to me, casual is it's in passing. It's something, but again, it can't happen more than once.
Well, that's what I mean about that. For me, that's how I feel about with physical affairs. A
Right,
lot of
right, right,
times
right.
they might just be one night stands or whatever. So,
Yeah, but you keep saying plural stands.
well, I'm not talking about us, or
I'm
I'm
like, I'm
just
looking at you like,
saying
okay, no, no, no.
no. But I just mean that because I know people that have had several. They've cheated several times, and it was physical. And after that, um, after they did whatever they did, they couldn't even remember the person's name. I mean, they could
Mhm.
remember, but like maybe a month later or whatever, they're like, "Oh yeah, the girl with the or the guy with the whatever." They have to
Right.
give distinguishing, a description of who that person was. But when it's an emotional affair, you know that person's name, you know, because you're invested, like you said.
Yeah, I think there's much more work that has to go into fixing or moving beyond an emotional transgression because that's so much deeper.
Yeah, the funny thing about it is so much deeper, but for the most part, it's like it starts out more innocent also. I don't think that, I mean, maybe some people do go into a physical affair, an emotional affair with their eyes wide open. A lot of times it happens based on friendship. It starts innocently with friendship, and then it develops into, oh, he's kind of cool, or oh, yeah, she gets me, or whatever. And then it builds from there. You start sharing intimate conversations, um, talking about, secretly about whatever.
But it's dangerous territory because there's a lot of rhetoric out there that says like, oh, if you don't want your man to cheat or if you don't want your woman to cheat, you got to make sure that you give them no reason to go out this, that, and the other, as if you're responsible for the other person's behavior, and we aren't. Look, make no bones about it. If you were to go out and have some sort of infidelity, whether it be physical or emotional, it can't be.
I can't blame you.
Well, it can't be like, well, if he was giving you what you needed, or if he was doing X, Y, Z, da da da. It can't be that because you can't. That's a form of that's a cop out. That's pointing at the other individual saying that, oh well, you. Oh no, you look at you like,
No, I
I
was
don't
thinking
know.
about something. Go ahead.
But you can't sit there and say that because it's ultimately the responsibility of the action rests upon the individual that creates the transgression or that does it.
But what if you're not giving me everything I need at home, like Sherelle said?
Then you need to have a conversation and be like, okay. And if you're both truly about your marriage,
Mm-hmm.
you find ways to bridge that gap.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a difference between whether or not you can I can't give you everything you need, or I won't give you everything you need.
Is there a difference? Because the end result is the same.
I think there is a difference. If I can't give you everything you need, let's just say that, like for instance, okay, let's say there was a medical procedure, something like that. I know that there's literature out there where it says that men that have prostate cancer go through a series of
Mm-hmm.
procedures.
Mm-hmm.
One of which, and a couple of those procedures will cause them to actually lose the ability to gain an erection, right? And so they'll remain flaccid. So that's a big part of it, that sexual intimacy in that respect can be dampened. And then, so some people feel as if, oh, I can't perform as a man with my wife. And if they can't figure out a way to get around that, if the wife is being shallow and they're like, well, he's not giving me what I need, so I'm gonna go get it somewhere else.
That's totally different, though.
Because he can't. But I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Because
You're
he can't.
answering. I got you.
Now, difference being if you won't. Now, again, no excuse for the wife to go do whatever, or the spouse. Let's call it the spouse to go do whatever.
Yeah, because why are you blaming us?
Because you're the one asking me if
I just asked the question.
See,
why you feel a certain kind of way? Why you feel some kind of way about it?
I had the tendency to step out. Would you? No. So no, but let's just say now on the flip side, the spouse asks, like, hey, I need more intimacy. Is there any way that we can do this, that, and the other? It doesn't have to be about sex. It could be whatever. No, you know what?
I'm good.
No, I'm good. I don't need it. I don't need that. Then even in that moment, when you won't, the person won't, not because they can't, but they just won't. There's something wrong with that situation, because then you're in the realm of withholding. That's a power play where the person says, I'm just going to hold this over you. I'm not going to give it to you. You want it, but I'm not going to give it to you. And there could be more behind it. There could be a lot of other things in play. Mm-hmm. But in both cases, it doesn't alleviate or it doesn't negate the responsibility of the other person. It doesn't say that, well, just because you won't or you can't, I'm going to go somewhere else. No. There's work that needs to be done at that point.
So, and I'm just asking these questions. I mean, because I know there are people who they have been, they're not the offender. They're the victim in the infidelity, but they take the responsibility and they're like, well, he cheated because I didn't do this, or she cheated because I was in this kind of way, and it made me see that I need to do X, Y, and Z to be better, or for whatever side said it, isn't that it's like that's them taking the responsibility and the onus off of the offender
to a certain extent. There's a book out there by Jack Canfield called The Success Principles. And there's chapter 1. The very first chapter of Success Principles is take 100% responsibility. It doesn't mean that the other person's not responsible, but for every situation out there, we have some part to play. And you take responsibility for the part you play. You take responsibility for whatever it is that you contributed to whatever the situation may be. Mm-hmm. So if the person says, you know what, I know I haven't been as active as, as you want, or as even I want, I've been tired of it, but they're taking responsibility for it. Now, they're not saying, because I did this, 100%, it's my fault that you went out and did X, Y, Z. I think sometimes people are saying that had I been more active or had I done more, you would have had less reason to go out. I see nothing wrong with people taking responsibility for their part in it, but not taking full ownership of the other person's transgression.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
So, and unfortunately, you have narcissists out there that will make a play and say something to the effect of, well, if only you had done this, I would have never had to go out and blah, 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 blah. But so that's on you.
Yeah, that's true too. But you say narcissist. I that's funny to me. I don't know that I would have labeled them as being narcissistic. I think that's a power play.
A lot of power plays happen out of the realm of narcissism.
That's true. That's true.
You know, and it's one of those things that you have to be mindful of. But we hope that you're in a loving, trusting, growing, sometimes failing and growing and healing relationship. And it takes both parties to really work at it, whether it's emotional or physical. Wait, you know what? Hold up. I didn't even ask you. Which one do you think?
About what's worse? I said
Yeah, you're right. You agree.
Wow.
No, I
See,
mean, okay,
this is
sorry.
what I go through, y'all. Lovey don't listen to me.
I got short-termitis. No, but I know what it was. I wanted to ask you, so what if I stepped out of the relationship? What would you forgive me?
After the funeral,
I
I forgive you.
So
After
really,
the
you would go
funeral.
kill her?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you mean me?
I'm getting all that life insurance.
All that life insurance.
All
No.
of it.
No, but it's
No, you know, like you said, to be honest, you know, I'm not saying that it would be easy for me to do all that we've been through. And, you know, I can sit here and say right now, I feel like I would be able to, I'm going to say be able to move
I feel like
past
I
it.
earned the right. I can do it once.
So we're going to both do it.
No. Stabbing. I don't have a get out of jail card.
Really? That's what we're going
She
with
ain't even
right now?
smiling. Okay.
No, I'm not.
Bad joke.
Very bad joke. But no, I mean, I want to say that I would be able to, I'm hoping that I would be able to move past it. I can't guarantee that I would be able to. Is that fair?
Nah, because I would have forgiven your butt. But okay.
I'm being honest.
That might be a double funeral.
Oh my gosh. I said, you know,
I'd
I want to
come back
say
and
it.
haunt you.
I want to say it, but I might be too devastated and too hurt. Because I'm like, how, what? What do you mean? You might want to just leave me after that anyway, because I already asked a ton of questions without it being
Right.
So can you imagine?
Well, that's how you know I could never actually get away with actually cheating on you. Where were you at? What were you doing? Why do you smell like that? What do you? Is that a hair?
don't ask
What is
those
that?
kind of questions.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just saying. I could never. I come home smelling, unlike the
I'm like,
funk that I have.
You don't smell like you've been working all day.
You guys, there's times where I come home and Snooks would just walk up and she just starts smelling my neck.
Yeah, Lovey has a smell. He has and that's my sweet spot. Even when we go to bed, like I'm like he needs to lay a certain way so I could my spot so I can smell him.
So I come home smelling like
If he
anything
smells
but
anything
me.
but yeah, I would know. I'd be like,
No, wait, hold on. No, there's a bit of an acidity there. I can. What is that? Is that blossoms? Is that,
I know it smells like cherry blossoms.
You're like, that's Bed Bath and Beyond,
Right.
vintage,
Right.
1999.
That's scent 093 or something like that.
Right. No, but you know what's funny is that it's not funny, but it's funny, not funny, that we need more forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the very first letter of crazy is, the letter C, which stands for compassion. And we need to be a little bit more compassionate. Not that, I need to be more compassionate because my spouse cheated on me and I didn't understand where they were coming from. It's not quite like that.
Because I'm looking at you like, what you trying to say, bruh?
No, but it's more about having more compassion for your marriage before anything transpires. I think many times if we put ourselves in a place to where we're doing the absolute most we possibly can to serve our spouses, I'm not saying, have sex just because your spouse wants you to have sex, or, I went and cheated because, you made fettuccine Alfredo one time too many. I'm tired of eating that one dish, or whatever, I know I'm being silly about it, but if we do things that serve each other,
Mm-hmm.
and we're always seeking to find better ways to serve each other, there's no time or there's no room for these what do you want to call them, these temptations or whatever to enter. You'll always see people out there that are attractive. I think my wife is the most beautiful woman in the world. I chose her. But there's some beautiful women out there.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
And I look, I'm not blind. Well, nobody's blind. There's some good looking men out there. I saw a dude looking like Idris walking around the corner, and I'm like, okay, if that fool looked like he coming from my house,
up.
But it's one of those things where you know that people are out there, but so you can't say, oh, just because they look good, that's temptation. No, that means that there's a void.
Okay, so you shouldn't say just because they look good that that's a temptation. I mean that might
True,
be a
true.
temptation for someone.
That's pretty shallow.
And it's
Yeah,
about to say that's just for this shallow type of individual.
shallow.
Okay, J. Cole. But you made me forget what I was gonna say. But no, it depends on what it is that you're seeking. If a person is, oh, because they look good, that means I want to sleep with them, or because I gotta always have the best, or okay, that's not a person that I would want to be in a relationship with. You know,
Right, and people are at different levels of maturity, though.
well, and that's exactly it too. What is your level of maturity? What is it that you're looking for? If you're married and you're still out there looking, trying to, see if you made the right decision based on the outer exterior, you know,
Right.
the, it's always gonna be a fail.
You know what? Let's make that the question of the month.
What?
So here's the question of the month. We're going to post it up on marriedintocrazy.com on the monthly question tab. Go there and answer it. Leave your voice. Well, if
Leave
you
your
dare
voice.
answer it. And this is one of those controversial questions, I guess. But the question is, which or something to this effect. I got to figure out how I'm going to write it.
Okay.
But which is more damaging to your relationship? Physical or emotional infidelity? And why?
What is more damaging?
And why?
Hmm.
You don't have to answer right now. I mean, we've kind of been talking about it this entire podcast.
Yeah, we have, but then I think about like I feel like too. It depends on because if it's emotional, there's a buildup. It's not gonna be just one time. Oh, I saw him, and instantly, emotionally, I'm invested in this person. It has to be a multiple meetings
It's like it's
or
premeditated.
meetups or anything like it. No, I don't even think it's premeditated. I think it starts innocently. It's a friendship, and then you just discover, oh, we got this so much in common, and then you start, like I said, you start sharing, intimate information because you're starting to feel connected to this person. And but while you're feeling connected to this person, you're disconnecting pretty much from your spouse in a way. So it's like that. There's a shift in the relationship or the meaning of what each person means to you. I should say. Does that make sense?
Right.
So with that being a buildup, with the physical part, it could be, hey, what's up? Oh, okay, hey, let's go, kind of, So you could have 10 physicals before you get the full blown emotional. You know what I mean? What I'm
I
saying?
know what you're saying, but on the flip side, let's say which one erodes trust.
Both.
I would say both.
Yeah, they
But
both do.
does one erode one more than the other?
Um, I think one is harder to get over than the other, as far as like being in it, because you talk about the investment and all that. You know,
See, and I
it's
agree.
almost like having a boyfriend, but not having a boyfriend.
But I do agree with you when it comes to which ones we think are more harmful or more, at least for us, which we feel to be more detrimental. But I was just thinking as well, because one we're saying it's kind of superficial. What if it's just physical? There's no emotional involvement. Can't remember the person's name. That could be kind of scary as well. That means that, okay, well, that means that you could just be a serial cheater
That's what I'm saying about the ten
over and
times
over and
to
over
the
and over and
one
over and over. Yeah.
emotional. So, I, then for me though, if it was, say you did have a physical relationship with someone else, you cheated, it would bother me. Obviously, it would bother me. But like, so when it came time for us to be intimate, I would always wonder: are you thinking about that person? Are you, or what was it about that person? What do they do that I'm not doing? As far as the physical part.
Can you imagine the scrutiny? That's a new move. Where'd you learn that? Who taught you that? Hold on, player.
Okay, I need to call a timeout.
You never put your leg like that before.
Right, right. So I mean, there's that part of it too. So either way, for myself, you talk about a blow to my self-esteem, because I would be thinking, you just said that, oh, I'm the most beautiful person, blah blah blah. You know how you feel about me and what I mean to you, and I'm your queen and your bride. But
I didn't say all that. I said
you did say all that. But you still felt that I wasn't enough.
mm,
And that's why you went and did whatever it was that you did. Even if you don't say, oh, you're not enough. If you feel like you got 2 pieces of chicken on your plate and you go get some more chicken, that means that 2 pieces of chicken on your plate wasn't enough, right?
or I'm just
Does that
greedy. Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
You wanted more. So what is it about me? And this is how I would internalize it, because now I'm going to make it be about myself, even though it's really your hang up. But now I'm going to, cuz knowing me, I'm going to make it be about me. What is it about me that caused you to do this? What is it that I'm not doing? So am I not cute enough? Did I gain too much weight? I know my belly's bigger than it was, blah blah blah. Do I not dress a certain way? I would want to know what the person looked like. These are all the things that would be taxing on me. And at the end of the day, I might just be like, I can't do this, because I will always remember that this is what you did, or feel like I wasn't enough. So what happens the next time I'm not enough? Are you going to go do it again?
The damage that is done in that situation is horrendous because let's say the relationship expires, and you decide I can't work through this. People move on to their next relationship and they decide that, I somebody tells them you are worthy, I love you, I will never be that. There's going to be remnants. There's going to be a resonance, or not resonance. What's the word?
Residue.
Residue of I'm not enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not pretty enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not whatever.
Yeah. I'm all that until I'm not.
And that's a hard thing. And so I guess this requires a bigger discussion about there's a responsibility within this covenant that the things that you do, it has a shelf life much longer than the moment in which you commit something.
Mm-hmm.
That lie, that transgression, that whatever it may be. It's not just about the moment. It's about the reverberation that will take place even longer than potentially the relationship that you have.
Yeah.
And the only way to actually stop that is to be very intentional about your relationship and ensure that you're giving your all to this one individual. And the moment, if you truly are all in and you recognize that, I've got some challenges, there's something wrong with the way that I'm approaching this relationship. Before you do anything, you might want to have that conversation and be like, hey, you know what? Something's not quite right. And it's not about you. It's about maybe something that I've dragged into this
Mm-hmm.
from my youth or from what I've seen when I'm growing up. And maybe we need coaching. Maybe we need counseling. Maybe we need something together. Maybe we need something individually to where we can head whatever this problem may be that I've identified, even just at the slightest amount. Let's cut it off at the pass. Let's investigate this before it builds up to the point where there's an emotional or physical transgression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because what ends up happening is you will be regretting that for the rest of your life, especially if it, like Lovey said, it was one of those it's on a whim type of things. Um, oh, it just happened, or it's a fluke, or so you're gonna pay for that fluke for God knows how long, because when you lose trust, or another person loses trust in you, we know that you don't just get that trust back because you said I'm sorry, or you're like, oh, and I won't do it again. Okay.
It's sad, but it's real. I mean, it happens in every aspect of life. You only have to be a drunk driver and hit
One
somebody
time.
once.
Mm-hmm.
in that one moment, oh, I'm a good guy. I mean, there's so many different examples out there on everyday life. I remember Stallworth. Remember Stallworth?
Oh, the football player.
Football player.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the club with his friends. They went home, got home, went home, went to bed.
Slept it off. Or
went to sleep, woke up in
yeah.
the morning, and went to go get something to eat. And so he did everything, right? They went to the club, got home, went to bed, woke up in the morning, was hungry, went to go get something to eat. Gentleman runs across the freeway.
It was
and
like 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
And he strikes the individual that was running across the freeway because he didn't see him, pulls over, tries to help the guy, called 911, all that. And when they get on the scene, it's automatic. They give you the breathalyzer, and he tested. He was above the I think it's called BAV, and did all the right things. But in that one moment, even being a Samaritan, because a person ran across the freeway, struck him, his entire life changed.
Mm-hmm.
Career gone, life changed. I know he's bounced back from that, but it's one of those things that you're in the club, hanging out with your friends, blowing out some steam, had one too many. This girl that's younger and more prettier than you think that you would have ever had a chance with starts hitting on you, and somewhere in all lines, ego takes over, and it could just be a kiss. It could be making out. That's still infidelity. And it's something that can actually end up changing the course of your marriage, because school teacher that teaches your child saw you in the club with that woman and then goes off, or that guy, and then starts the chatterbox thing that goes on at the school, and then it gets back to other parents, the PTA, and then other parents that whatever. I mean, there's a variety of ways that these things happen.
Your kids.
Right? Yeah. I heard my mom talking about your dad and or whatever. Let's be mindful of how we approach our marriage and take responsibility, not just for, my actions, but take responsibility for your responsibility to your covenant, and try not to put yourself in these situations. And whether it's a physical or it's an emotional investment or a transgression, bottom line is they both hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They both destroy.
Yeah. So, and just kind of thinking about, going back to the emotional part, maybe you're like, oh, no, I don't feel like that. Or, what if just some things to think about. If you start feeling distant towards your spouse and investing more time in your friend, that might be a sign right there that there's something going on. You share more information with your friend than you do with your spouse.
You find yourself taking a phone call and needing to step outside.
Yeah, or you talk about your whole day to your spouse, but you avoid telling your spouse about your friend because that's a secret.
That could be problematic.
Yeah. So you need to start. Okay, go ahead.
I would say, or all your spouse's friends. She knows all your friends except this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or vice versa. He knows all your friends except this one.
Mm-hmm. You start looking forward. You start looking more forward to seeing your friend than you are your spouse. And
you start finding reasons to visit this person or make detours. Going for that additional coffee after work. Sitting down. Not that you can't have coffee with friends, or whether you're the opposite sex or what have you. But it always comes down to the intent behind it.
I was about to say, but we're all adults, and we recognize what temptation is. And if you start feeling some kind of way that's not friendly,
overly friendly,
whatever, yeah, listen to that. Don't shut it out. Listen to it.
Yeah, that little voice is speaking to you for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, it got deep quick. I mean, it was a deep subject, but started off kind of jovial, and next thing you know, Snooks is talking about collecting life insurance. So, hey, do us a favor. Go over to marriedandcrazy.com. Look at that monthly question tab and answer the question. If you're brave, go ahead and answer it with your voice. it would be nice to hear answer as a couple. Talk about this. Have this discussion with each other. Bring it to the table, and have it, whether it's lighthearted or intense or something that needs to be talked about because you never really thought about it before. Have that conversation, and then go to our site and answer the question. You'll have up to, I think I have it set for up to 2 minutes, up to 120 seconds to actually leave your answer. And we will include it in one of the podcasts this month.
Yep.
Okay, so in parting, the last thing I'm going to say is go to our website again. On the very front page, you're going to see that Snooks and I are once again speaking at the Marriage Mastery Meetup on February 19th. It's a Saturday. There's going to be a virtual component to it to where whether you're there live, which we're not even sure it's going to be live anymore because of COVID, but there is going to be a virtual way that you can participate. You have some 4 dynamic speakers. You've got Bishop McKnight will be talking. First Lady Mavis McKnight will be talking about. She's a sex educator. Then you also have Miss Tanisha Collins, who is also a sex coach, a lot of sex. They actually form a duo called the Sex Tour, and they go around talking about sex as it should be within the church. Not the, oh, you should never. It's more about let's really
be real about it.
Let's be real about it and utilize the blessing that God gave us within the sanctity of our marriage. And then, of course, Snooks and I will be speaking about loving like crazy. So we invite you to participate and go to our website. There's a link right there on the very first page where you can click through and go ahead and register. You have plenty of time, but don't wait till the last minute. Again, that's going to be the Marriage Mastery Meetup 2022 to be held on February 19th.
And don't forget about the vision board party
activity that's going to be this upcoming Saturday.
Saturday.
Yep. So go ahead, and that's free, and you can register on the Married Into Crazy website, or go to Iron Tribe, the marriage community on Facebook, and you can register there. So, with that said, until the next time,
be blessed.
Bye.
Bye bye.